Here we go.
Cool.
Okay, hi everybody on the interwebs. We are live according to YouTube, and you can see 6 squares of people, 2 of which have turned up, 3 of which haven't got here yet, but we shall persevere. Now, big welcome to the gentleman below me. First time on the show is Ian, and I think this should work if everything has been set up properly. Yay, there we go.
Hey, look, that's me.
Look at it in all of his glory.
You've seen me before, if you've seen me on some of the other shows. So
I have seen you around.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. I think we've been on the same Kent Spong stream.
We have.
Yeah, so that's probably about the only place we've been together. But I have seen you on various other channels as well, which is good. Good to see you anyway. Do you want to let everybody know a little bit about your YouTube channel, just while I'm getting a few other things set up? YouTube channel, I know you do a good job there, and a few other things you do.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, the YouTube channel is Ian J. Cole. It's not just music; it's also art-based stuff. So, you know, I'm shortly due to go to Edinburgh Fringe Festival in the beginning of August, and we'll be putting up loads and loads of reviews from that for about 14 days. Obviously, none of that stuff, some of it will be music, but none of it will be synth-based. But the channel really was just to sort of stuff that I was interested in. So if I'm interested in it, it sort of goes up there. So it's not focused on music particularly. It's not focused on synths, although there has been lots of synth stuff up there over the last few years that I've been doing it, you know. So, but no, it's... and there's also my own music up there as well. No, it's, you know, have a look if you're interested in that sort of thing, is what I would say.
Yeah, we'll probably have a bit of a geesy gander at it a little bit later in the show. Yeah. Now let's go back to this. So for the moment we've got 3 of us up. So why don't I just work out how I'm going to do this? If I go to here. Look at that shuffling cards, isn't it? Should we do that again? Watch this.
Yeah, oh, Sunnyfield, isn't
it? Dearie me. I'm having too much stupidity today. Right, chatties will put down the bottom there. And what else can we put up? That'll do for now. Chatties can go there. Black square up there. Oh no, Brooksy's here. Look at that. Just in the nick of time, eh? We can put Brooksy there. We can put Brooksy there.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Hello, Andy.
Am I coming through all right? Is it on this?
Yes, it is.
Hang on, I've got speakers on.
Oh, you got wobbles. Speed wobbles. Going too fast. Slow down. The pram wheels are shaking. Yeah, look at that. Everybody's let's go full screen so we can all get drunk. Do it again. Make it wobble.
Yeah. I'm all looking. Hi, Andy.
So, hi, Ian. Nice to see you on here. That's a surprise. You all right?
It's a surprise for me too. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm glad you're on the mend, or at least.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, I just saw your message and pinged you a little reply. So, yeah, I was actually feeling a lot better on sort of Thursday, really. But I got a phone call about 5 o'clock saying, "Can you come in for some tests and stuff?" So I thought, well, I better had, hadn't I? Well, I better go. So I've been in. I spent yesterday, sort of morning, early afternoon, being poked, prodded, jabbed, scanned, and otherwise, yeah. Seen to.
If you guys can hear a bunch of background noise, it's absolutely pelting down with rain here at the moment. So I don't know if it's coming. I've got a filter on, but I don't know if it's coming through the filter.
Yeah, we can just hear it actually, but yeah, not to worry.
It's really loud in here.
Don't try.
You could come up a little bit in volume too, Andy. Just from my monitoring, I can't. It's not a lot, but I just feel you're just a little bit off. You're definitely close enough to the mic.
How's that then? Is that better?
That's really good. Yeah.
Or was I just mumbling a bit? I might have been. I've been moving a few bits about, so levels mic level I've moved down. So anyway,
Awesome. We do have two more people coming on. So in a minute, these two squares here will fill up with two more people. But for now, it's just it's just the three of us plus the chatties. While we're speaking of chatties, why don't we say hello to them, because they're important. Well, I think they are anyway. So big hello to everyone who's been waiting patiently in chat. I think Andy SynthAddict, who's going to be on a bit later, was first, I think. I'm not sure. According to my thing, he was anyway. Wagoo's there. Hello to Wagoo. Future World Machines, good hello to you. One of our channel members. Martin Taylor, big hello. Keith in Watford, another channel member, big hello. Merbert's there. Good to see some regular faces, or regular chat entries, I should say. Azio Head, big hello to you. Homegrown. Inky's there. Hello, Inky. Who else? Sasquatch. Hello, Sasquatch. It's all the regulars, which we love. JX3D. Kent is there. Kent, big hello, one of our channel members again. Kent Spong. We all know him. Geert's there, or Gert. I always get that wrong. I don't know why. Mark's there. Big hello to Mark. Haven't seen Mark for a while. Good to have him back. And as it always does on me, it scrolls. I don't know why it does that. It just scrolls. And then I've lost where I was. I think I've got most of them. Kev Human, Mega Mark D. Oh, Mega Mark D's here. Haven't seen him for a while. I think he poked his head in briefly last week. We've also got Kosh. I don't know if I've seen Kosh before. Big hello to you. If you're new, let us know where you're from.
Guy. Yeah, he's been around.
He's been around?
Yeah, I've seen Kosh Tukai before. Hi, Kosh. Cool.
Big hello to Kosh.
He was a too.
Yeah, sounds like some people are enjoying the nice warm weather in the northern hemisphere. I can let you know today it was raining all day, and I went to 2 sporting matches during the day with children I've got. One was a soccer game, or football you guys call it, and the other one was a netball game, and both of them, they rained. So I had wet socks. You can keep the up part dry, right, with the umbrellas, but you always get wet shoes.
We need Sheffield, Andy.
It's quite warm and muggy at the moment, so no, it's not. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't half an hour ago. So, oh dear.
Fantastic. I'll just keep an eye on who else is coming in, but I think we should be okay to keep going. Now, in terms of today's show, we haven't set a topic, which is actually probably some general advice I got given during the week. Don't always have to set a topic, which I think is a good idea. Don't set a topic and just see what happens. I do have news, all the regulars, like funny side news, all that sort of stuff coming up. But for now, we can chew the fat. We can talk about anything you like. If you guys want to raise a subject, we can chew the fat on that. If you don't have anything to talk about, one of the chatties might want to ask to talk about something. Well, there's definitely some things.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Can I just say a massive thank you to everybody who sent good wishes through, actually, and either in the chats on the various shows or directly through personal messages and texts and stuff. It's been really nice. Thank you very much. I've appreciated that, because I've not been very well really for a bit. So that was really quite moving. Thank you for your kind thoughts and wishes. So thank you, everyone.
It was nice of you to say. I kind of feel when you do get those well wishes, I kind of feel it almost takes part in your wellness, you know. It sort of helps.
Actually, yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. It's just it was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very appreciative.
It shows that people care. People do care, because this is a real community, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah.
Doesn't matter where we sit physically. Exactly. It's a community.
Yeah.
You were going a bit glitchy there, Ian. Is that? Yeah.
Busy? Let's have a close up with Ian. He looks nice and clear here.
Three?
No. I meant his audio. Sorry.
Oh, his audio. Yeah, actually, turn that auto gain thing off. That could be what it is.
Right, okay.
Yeah, do that.
Right. And
I think we should be good to go. It seems to be some sort of like volume cutting in and out. So I reckon it's the auto gain.
The echo cancelling's come back in as well, and I didn't turn that on. So should I turn both of them off? Let's see what happens. I've turned both of them off. So see how that goes. Now, if you do it properly, it should actually disconnect you and reconnect you. So we should see you freeze. And if you don't freeze, we'll know that it actually hasn't disconnected you. Yeah, no, it hasn't. I'm going to reconnect. There you go. There we go. It did reconnect me. Yeah, now check your settings again. Is that better? It definitely sounds better. Yeah. Let me just have a quick look and see what it says. Yeah, all of that stuff's off. Okay, good. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't before. I haven't actually. This is also for anyone who's watching. On my blog website, I decided to get off my butt and finally write like a little sort of technical guide on the vMix call. This is for people who come on the show as guests. I don't know if that helped or not. Is that the bit that was underneath the page? Yeah. You know, well, it actually, I can tell you, Ranzee, that did help because I came onto the page and I tried to click on where it said your name and the password, and I couldn't get in. And then I read through, and I realised that the actual link was down below. So that really worked. Yeah. Yeah, and then one of the things that a lot of people don't realise, and this is not for you, Ian, or Andy, or anyone. This is for whoever's watching. Is if you actually do want your camera and your audio to come through, and you want it to be nice and crisp, like. Basically, if you look at Brooksy, he's pretty clear, and you've got to remember he's on the other side of the world for me. He's in the UK, so is Ian, nice and clear. It's not the internet my end that will make him, or technically is, but my internet my end is actually really big. What it is actually how fast your internet is where you are transmitting your video feed from. So if you've got lots of kind of kids in the house playing YouTube videos or Netflix, and you're on the same internet connection, that can really just narrow down how much bandwidth you've got. And generally speaking, they say you need probably about 3 megabit upload speed just to transmit audio and video to give you that, like I was showing you before, that nice clear picture. So it does help when you boot the kids off Netflix.
Get out of the house for 2 hours. Yeah.
Now, another thing too. This is I've been doing this 3 or 4 years now. One of the things a lot of people forget is it's also really important to wear headphones, because I've had people come on and they play the audio through the speakers in their studio, their monitors, and we're all hearing everything like triple, 3 times, whatever. Yeah. So Ian's done it perfectly. This is kind of what I'm saying. So Ian read some instructions. And really, there was very little. Which is rare. I have to say, it's rare that I read instructions, but yeah. Well,
you're proper clever, Ian.
I usually throw them over my shoulder. You've probably seen me do that on the show, right? Yeah. You get the instruction for the same thing. You go, no, we don't need that, do we? No, we don't need to read instructions. All we need to do is write a tech support message and act like Karen and and they come back and say, "Did you read the instructions?" Maybe not. But yeah. So yeah, it's good. We're just going to have a "Did somebody say synths" show, And what I mean like that is that's what we're all about. We're going to talk about whatever you want. So my internet is big, says Merbert. Well, I mean, let's not insult my internet. You never know, I might be on a diet. No, just kidding. It is a big internet in terms of what we can get. Most households anywhere in the world really, but it is actually a microwave link, so it's not your standard cable type link that I've got for this particular feed. And I've also got a backup one if this one fails. So, and you guys have all been through it. Who've been on the show for a long time, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So when it works like a dream. Yeah, I'm in East Yorkshire, so we're not out in the sticks. We're in a town, but the internet here can be patchy at times. Certainly, you get that thing very occasionally. You're watching Netflix and it suddenly freezes. Yeah. It doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. Yeah, I mean, I've got lots of friends in the UK, and obviously varying different parts of the UK obviously have really good internet, and other parts, like even I've got friends who live down in Cornwall, they have really bad internet down there. So, you know, you can feel for people in certain parts. But yeah, I think it's like that anywhere really in the world, isn't it? So you've got your bigger cities sort of tend to
population densities are prioritised, aren't they? So the big cities will be well provided. So like here in Sheffield, there usually isn't a problem. There's occasionally issues when they're digging up the road at the end of here. They often have to do that for various repairs to the railway and this sort of thing. And but yeah, most of the time it's pretty decent and well.
Yeah. Now, I've just changed my glasses over because I was like looking at the screen and everything was blurry. And the reason for that is these are my reading glasses. Anyway, I forgot to change them. Big shout out to Homegrown, who's decided to become a channel member. And he's now part of the LFO group. Well done. You can low frequency oscillate all you like now. You can become an LFO demon, if you like. Just be careful, because if you like the Korg Prologue, there's only one of you. That could be a bad thing. I always give Korg a lot for that. You know, it's like as if they've created a cardinal sin for creating a synth with just one LFO.
I mean, I'm a massive Korg fan, but I don't think I've ever played a Prologue.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have. Yeah, I have. Because actually, because we used to have a music shop, and actually I've forgotten his name. The Korg demonstrator guy in the UK, Luke. Yeah.
Yep.
Luke actually brought the Prologue in for us to play with. I have to say, I wasn't that impressed.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought it was overpriced. I just couldn't really get behind it, and we never ever stocked it, you know.
Right. Well, one of the things I found interesting about it is it was kind of sold to us. I don't know if it's the same with Korg in the US, in the UK, and other parts of the world. In Australia, Korg actually don't have a direct division. They're actually through a distributor. Right. And the distributor was kind of pushing it as the bigger brother of the Minilog at the time. And they were sort of saying, well, the Minilog is only 4 voices, the Prologue is more voices, so therefore it's going to be... But it was really nothing like the Minilog, tonally, everything. It was kind of like a completely different demon. Did you guys find that, or was that different sort of your part of the world?
I've never played one. I don't know. I mean, I've always liked the look of it. I've always thought it was an interesting looking synth.
I don't remember Luke ever saying that, and certainly our Korg rep at the time didn't push it that way. So no, it was never meant to be, you know. There was obviously some connection, wasn't there, with it, but I have to say that when they brought out the Minilog XD, that was the one that I really fell in love with.
Yeah, that was a good version.
Although I don't have one now, and I bought one for myself and then stupidly sold it because a customer was dead, because they were out of stock for months, and this customer said, well, I've got an X demonstration one, but it's my own, really. Went, please let me have it. So I ended up selling it and never putting it back into stock. But you know, but that's the one that I really fell in love with.
I kind of feel like
the Op 6.
I kind of feel like the Minilog XD has the Prologue to thank for it though, because they brought that user oscillator out in the Prologue.
Yeah. And I am still surprised that they are still selling the original Minilog. I thought it would be discontinued by now, but no, it's not. You know, it's still available.
They're still selling the Microkorg, aren't they?
Oh, but the Microkorg is something different.
Oh, yeah, that's been around for donkeys. But guys, tell me something about the Minilog, right? Let's just focus on that for a sec. Do you guys find the sound of the Minilog is really quite unique in terms of, like, does it sound like an MS? Like, is it Korg sounding, or do you find it kind of sits out on its own? Does it have kind of its own sort of little bubble that it sits in? I kind of feel like it almost has a bit of an ARP sort of feel to the sound of it.
Okay,
I never played the
one,
original
but
art,
he ended up to speak.
but we used to stock the. My brain's gone to mush. The what was the app that they brought? The Korg reintroduced.
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Yeah,
We had the Odyssey, and we had them side by side in our demonstration room, and I couldn't really. You wouldn't have said there was any history between the two really at the time. You know, I liked the Odyssey. Did I want one? Not really, but I did like it. No.
Neil thinks the Prologue sounds good and easy to use, so there you go. Good on you, Neil.
Actually, if you listen to Jamie Geosynth talking about it, he
likes
again
it, yeah.
Initially he was like the disappointment that there was only one LFO, and he was a bit but once he'd actually set himself down and used it to start creating patches and got himself into it, he actually, I think, he warmed to it considerably. He really liked it. And I think that's probably true of a lot of synths. If you just play a few presets and again, well, you know, it is what it is. I think they made a bit of a mistake when he put one LFO on it, but most of the time it's probably going to do the job perfectly well. I mean, often in polysynth sounds, you don't want them to be too complex, do you really? But anyway, controversial topic.
Technically, you can get around that one LFO2 in a Prologue. I think there's kind of hacks that give you like a second modulation option when you're using other things like envelopes or CV or whatever.
The Prophets only have one. The Prophet 5 only has one LFO, but you can use oscillator B as a second LFO. You can set it into LFO mode and disable the keyboard, and as you can on the Pro 1, it's the same sort of voice. So that was, I suppose, a get around. But you lose an audio oscillator if you do that. So, but that had lots of modulation. I say lots. It had a nice selection of modulation options built into it through the polymod section. Yeah, and I'm sure the Korg Prologue's got those sort of things built in too. It's got a modulation matrix, but I don't know the synth well enough to be able to comment.
No, I mean, neither do I, because it was just an afternoon we had the thing for, really. But I mean, I think you're right about the business of, you know, if you spend enough time with a synth, you know, and really get to know it. Like we were asked by Korg for me to do some reviews of the Op6. Now, I'm a guy that I owned 3 FM DX7s back in the day, 2 of the first generation and 1 of the second generation, and really couldn't program the thing for toffee. But then again, you know, lots of us couldn't, could we? And I never really liked a lot of the sounds and I don't know why I had so many DX synths, because I had 3 DX7s, 1 DX21 and a DX100 over time, you know. But actually, once I started to get into the Op6 and really start to mess around with it, and I'm the sort of guy that I very rarely start building a preset from scratch. I'll start with something else and then start messing around. I like, you know, I'm a messer, really.
Yeah.
And the Op6 made FM synthesis. It just opened it for me. You know, so much so that the damn thing is still sat up there. You know, I decided to keep it. You know, which I did when I first.
An endorsement, isn't it?
Well, it is, and because the conversation I had with Korg, because we were studying the pandemic, and it was a Zoom call, and went, but I'm not your FM guy. I'm not the guy to actually, you know. He said, well, just take it and try it, and then send it back to us if you don't like it, and do what you do. Be honest, you know. And I did 3 or 4, probably 5 videos in total, and just over those 5 videos, really fell in love with it. You know, so much so that I've used it quite a lot since. On just, you know, if I do a jam, the Op6 is in it somewhere. Yeah. You know, so, and I think for FM, it's about making it accessible to everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? And the way the carriers and the operators works, it just made sense, really. You know?
I think someone needed to make something like the Op6. So I'm glad Korg did it. But I actually think the first FM synth that kind of got people a little bit closer to being able to make it more usable was the Reface DX, because they actually
Sorry, I was just going to say I never ever I've never touched any of the refaces. I'm not hugely fond of little synths, but you're right. I think that made it. I was watching the battery operated orchestra's live stream, and Chris on there was saying that that was the first thing that the first synth that got him into FM, you know. And then he's bought it up 6 synths.
It's probably not
6 synths.
Op 6 level, but you know what I mean? Like Op 6 definitely I think you can just take it like really a lot further. But I think in terms of who's ever sort of tried to do FM synths and make it easy, I think that was really kind of the first one where people were like, actually, this is actually not too bad. And I think, I don't know. I've always wanted to get an Op 6 myself, but I've always just held back. I don't know why. It's probably, maybe I just need to go into a store and try one out, because they're actually pretty cheap. They're not that dear.
Yeah, they are.
They're a lot cheaper than what they were when they first released them too, which is even better, because
that's always the case, though, isn't it? You know,
good time to buy. Yeah. Now, so I had this interesting conversation during the week with a guy who is a synth guy in Australia, and John, if you're watching, big hello to you. He bought a brand new, and it hasn't come yet, but he was just talking about his experience. He bought a brand new Roland Jupiter X. That's the new one that Roland has just released. And he was talking about how he is a firm believer in never paying full price. So when you go into a store, you haggle. So I thought that was a really good sort of topic to bring up. Like when you go into a store and you go to the counter and you say, right, I want to buy, because most of us sort of know what we want when we go there. I kind of want to buy this. Do you guys haggle, or do you just pay the price that's in the store?
Well, right, okay. So I'm going to give you the other perspective, because I'm still a Korg retailer.
Yeah.
We're an online business, so so we still, you know, when we had our bricks and mortar shop, which was before the pandemic, we would get those people walking in and haggling all the time. And from a retailer point of view, you just see, because I'm honest to say that the margins on all of this stuff for a retailer aren't brilliant. You know, so you have to sell quite a lot of stuff. So, you know, I mean, our little bricks and mortar shop was small market town. We did everything. We didn't do much in synths until we took it over. Like we had it for 8 years. But before that, it was a guitar shop. But the things that we really made money on were the fact that we did lessons and accessories and stuff like that. The bigger ticket items like guitars and synthesizers, you don't make much margin on it. So, I mean, we've had people walk in and haggle to such an extent that I've turned around and say that I'm sorry, I'm just not going to sell it to you. Which, you know, because you were actually going to be losing money in some cases.
Yeah.
And I've said this before on other, so I apologise for repeating if you've heard this before, but I have actually said that what does happen, because we were a small shop and didn't have the buying power of some of the big retailers like Gear for Music in the UK, and there's Tollman over in Germany, and I'm sure you've probably got somebody over in Australia like that, Ranz.
Yeah, we do.
Because we didn't have that sort of buying power, they would do deals to such an extent that our trade price was their retail price. And when that happens, we would just stop selling the product.
Yeah,
because
just lose
there's
out,
absolutely
don't you?
no price.
Yeah. No, but it's good. It's good asking you that, Ian, because you've actually, you know, you're talking about it from the other point of view, and as you know,
I mean, we always.
I was just going to say, as you know, that point that you're making about like companies like Toman or Gear for Music, or in the US, Sweetwater, those big purchasing giant companies, they have the traction to do that. And just how much does that really kind of affect you guys? I've always been wondering that, because, you know, mum and dad.
It is interesting, because I mean we're literally we're 18 miles from Gear for Music. So and I know Andy Vass, the MD of Gear for Music. We're not friends, but we've met each other at trade shows and that sort of stuff. And he's a decent enough guy. What you tend to find with the big boys is that certain things, like I say, their trade price is my retail, but then on other things, we would actually be cheaper than them. So there is a perception that everything you buy from a big music store is going to be cheap, and that is definitely not the case. I mean, we did fall out with. I mean, I've said this before, so I'll say it again. We fell out with Zoom, the audio recorder people, not the video people, because we were selling little Zoom recorders, and they were the things that were coming in, and Gear for Music were able to do them cheaper than us. And we rang up Zoom and said, look, what's going on here? Because they're selling it at roughly our trade price, and they said, well, no, they must be doing a loss leader. Gear for Music don't do loss leaders. They don't sell things cheaper than they have a fixed margin to some extent, or they try and have a fixed margin. So they've obviously, Zoom have done a deal with Gear for Music to actually probably buy maybe 200 or so of whatever whatever the item is, whereas we could never afford to do that, So but for them to turn around and say, oh well, there is no special deal, but it does go on, certainly. I mean, our argument with all of our suppliers, and when we had the shop, we dealt with Korg, Yamaha, Casio, and then guitar brands and people like that. Now, we did deal with Roland, but it was really only for Boss pedals. We used to say to all of them, offer us the same deal that you're offering the big boys, then we know there's a deal. If we don't take it, then that's on us. We will be cool on that product for a while because we know that you sold X number into all the big boys as well, Yeah. So, but it's that bit of information that you want to know that this product is going to be, a price that you can't compete with.
Yeah, I reckon that's they should be disclosing that to you. So when I was talking about this topic to this guy, and he mentioned that I always haggle. I thought great question to ask you guys. One of the things I kind of believe in, and I don't know if I've said this much on the show before, and that is I kind of like to support a local retailer, and the reason for that is I don't always do that. So I'm not here with purity, right? So it's not like it's a religion for me, because as you guys would be aware, I do buy stuff from Gear for Music, and I'm not in the UK. I'm in Australia, and
so do I.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I buy stuff from other stores as well, like Elevator Sound, and I could name heaps. Perfect Circuit in Los Angeles. So there's reasons why I buy things from certain stores around the world, and usually it's because they can get it to me quicker than whether it's in stock here or maybe they just don't sell it here or whatever. That's usually to do with how fast I can get it here. Because I kind of have two reasons to buy things, unlike a lot of musicians who aren't YouTubers. One of them is if I want something, that's my first reason and my only primary reason why I'll ever buy something. But my secondary reason is if I can get it quick, I can show it on my channel, and it benefits everyone who watches. So I mean, whilst I'm lucky, I do get some things given to me by the suppliers and by the manufacturers. It's very rare, and so like 99% of the things that I've got here I've purchased with my own money. Having said that, I want that money to go to a mum and dad business, or a business that I feel is going to benefit from it. So when we talked about haggling before, I kind of thought back to myself and I thought, I don't do it. And I thought, is there a reason why I'm not doing it?
I have to say, if I walk into, and it doesn't necessarily need to be just about synthesizers or music and instruments, because if I walk into a store, I wouldn't normally just haggle. If I think it's if I went for my birthday last year. My mother-in-law bought me a piece of art. I've now got to the point where I have enough of everything else almost, so I should buy a small piece of art from, if you like, independent artists, really. And I was in this shop down in the southwest, and I loved this little piece of art. And I think it was, I looked at it and I didn't see the price ticket. I think that's got to be 150 quid, which is a lot of money for a piece of art as far as I'm concerned. It wasn't. It was £75. And I said to my wife, so they clubbed together, and it came as a birthday present, that 75 quid. We didn't haggle about the price because I thought that piece of art for that price was worth it, you know. So if something is worth the price that they're asking for it, then, you know, why screw the retailer?
Yeah.
You know?
There's this other thing that we all have, and that is we have internets and we can search, right? And we know that you can get, say you're wanting to buy a Moog 1, right? And we know that's a really pretty expensive purchase. And in some cases, you can see that Sweetwater in the US are selling it for X. And then you're looking at your local store and they're selling it for Y, and you think, wow, there's a massive markup there, and does that store really, really need to sell it at that price? Now, this is kind of interesting. So here's a comment from Merbert. There's also this thing called an Australia tax. Well, kind of yes and kind of no. So you guys probably get it in the UK now that you've had Brexit, right? So there's an interesting thing that happens with when you import stuff from an overseas company. So there's especially something like in Australia, we have this law that says if you import something that's more than $1,000, that they have to pay GST. This is the same as your VAT there, right? Except it's cheaper for us. Yeah. GST is only 10% here. Then you also have to pay an import duty tax, which is there's two fees in that. There's an actual percentage that they charge, and it's kind of some convoluted calculation that they work out. And there's an admin fee that wraps up in that, so they're making money twice. And then the person that imports it wants to make a profit, so they put their profit margin on. And by the time that's done all that, they also have to charge the end user all the courier costs that it's cost to get this gear across from the other side of the world. So where's Moog? They're in the eastern states of the US, right? So it's going to cost a lot to get that big, massive, huge behemoth synth. You know, you could think transporting that's not going to be £5. It's going to be, you know, probably more like 50 to 100 pounds in courier fees and getting it there safely as well. So, yeah, I mean, that is basically your local price. It's wrapped up in all of that. And, you know, fair enough for the store wanting to make a bit of profit, because not only do they have to keep it on the shelf, they have to have staff to demonstrate it. They've got to have the support there if something goes wrong with it, because that store is going to be the place that the person will bring it back to if something does go wrong with it, even though it's not the store's fault. So just bear that in mind when you're buying stuff locally. And no matter where you are in the world, that will have some sort of bearing. So when you're comparing prices to Sweetwater or to Thomann or Gear for Music or those sort of, they're big online stores. They don't really necessarily have the shopfront costs to run their business. I
mean, certainly, having been into Gear for Music in York, they have a big showroom. But I was quite surprised, because I had a few customers come in when we had the shop and say, "Well, I wanted to go in and buy X, but they wouldn't demonstrate it to me," which I thought was unbelievable. It may be different now, but you know, if you've got a big showroom, then and you walk in to want to try a synth or a guitar or whatever it is, then I would expect that there would be some staff there to do that. You know, I know that their point of sale stuff is all just like it would be if you were sat at home. So you log onto a terminal and then you buy it, and then it's done like that, really. You know, but it's funny you say about we've had the guy walk in with his phone saying, "Oh, you know, Andertons can sell me this for 100 or 200 quid cheaper." And then you look and you say, "Well, actually, it's out of stock." And you say, "Well, ours is that price when it's out of stock," you know, that sort of thing.
There's what do they call it? The carrot product. The carrot, dangle the carrot, get them in the store.
You know, so when you haven't got stock,
I'm so sorry.
When it's out of stock, it's 200 quid cheaper.
Wagoo's wondering how Analog Solutions ship a Colossus overseas. I guess it fits on a cargo pallet.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Those things are massive, aren't they? I wonder what the courier fee on that would be. Easily, 250 quid. Easily, something like that.
But what are you paying now? Which are they? There's how many thousand are there? Tens of thousands? 20 grand or whatever they cost? I can't remember what they. I know they're ridiculously expensive. 20, yeah. So what's 250 quid when you've just spent 25 grand?
I had to send them back because we couldn't get up the stairs. Oh, sorry. My mistake. I apologise.
You just left it in the lobby.
Yeah.
Go down to the lobby and play it every day. What's that noise down in the lobby? Is that Mr. Brooks again?
No, it's the cleaner.
It's a cleaner having
Oh dear.
playing jump on the Moog one.
Dear.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
So I'm not gonna, like Merbert's saying, their costs are the same all sort of around the world. They kind of are and they kind of aren't. Like different taxes, different rates, different couriers, different distances. There's differences, so we can't really paint the world with the same brush. But there's definitely occasions where a retailer will, be taking the P155 on their prices. And if they can get away with it, we've talked about this on the show before with Price Watch. If you can get away with it, like I said last week, start the car. If you can get away with it, just get away with it. Good on them. So, yeah. And speaking of which, Future World Machines aptly said, "Don't talk to me about couriers." Wow. Yeah. Don't talk to me about couriers. Wow. Future World Machines, you need to tell us what experience you've had recently that made you say that, because I think we all have become victim to the courier issue, right?
Yeah, I've got some stories there as well. Because we do still export. Or we're doing less export. We're doing a lot less exports since Brexit, and we're doing hardly anything into the EU.
Yep.
But I am still exporting to America and places like that. I have done to Australia in the past, but not for quite a while. We're finding that the courier problems that we're having, and I'm shipping out currently probably 15 to 20 parcels a week on average. We were using Every, which was Hermes, and we found so many problems with them. I mean, you hear that. I think the rumour is that the reason they changed the name was because there was a BBC a piece of film of how badly they treated their parcels. We sell small stuff through an intermediary called Interpass in the UK, which they find all the right prices, and we're currently sending through Yodel. And we've been doing that for about 3 months at roughly 15 a week. No problems. We've not had any lost parcels. We've not had any. We had parcels with Hermes, when there were Hermes, where the thing would arrive, but they'd actually opened the parcel, taken the item out, and then resealed it. So the guy would then say, and it happened more than once. It wasn't just a random thing where the customer was saying, it's arrived, but all I've got is a box, So that sort of thing has been going on. If we're sending synthesizers out, we use DPD. DPD are they're dear. They're quite expensive to ship, but they will let the customer know within an hour of when it's going to arrive, and they seem to take more. Yeah, they seem to take more care. Hi, Darren. They seem to take more care than some of the other ones, And
I was having with DPD.
Yeah, and we've used all of them over time.
One of the companies that seems to have done really well in the whole getting stuff through customs, getting stuff through different countries is DHL, as in terms of an international courier. And I don't know whether that's the same for you guys in the UK, but I've been talking to people that live in the US. And there's been, and I'm saying this based on what I've heard. This is not my own opinion. They've like all of a sudden they've dumped FedEx as the go-to international courier in the US because they can't seem to get something from the EU or other countries like China using FedEx, but they can get it quite easily using DHL. So I don't know what these courier companies are doing to be able to sort of bypass certain things where other courier companies are having massive headaches.
I don't know. What happens here is certainly that if I send something with DPD and it's going to be export, it's only DPD to the border, and then it will be somebody else. And it will certainly be, if it was going to America, it probably would be DHL or somebody like that, maybe FedEx. So we have absolutely no control over that, because it's usually based on on price. You know, we've paid X money, and obviously our intermediary, they choose who they send it to once it's outside of the UK. You know, but I mean, we've had no problems with DHL. You know, we've had quite a few problems with Parcel Force breaking things. Like literally, we sent a guitar amp. We sent a Vox guitar amp out, and luckily we did insure it for the full value, and they broke it. I mean, literally, they dropped it and smashed it.
Wow.
So
like the Ace Ventura movie with Jim Carrey kicking the box up the stairs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know what they did to it. The customer got it, and I said, because first thing we said was, "Take loads of photographs." Because he box arrives, he says, "I haven't opened it yet, but it looks a bit crushed." I said, "Take me loads of photographs," which he did, and that was our evidence that obviously there was a massive problem, really.
Yeah.
So we refunded him because there was he kept it. There was no point him sending it back. Because look, you probably can't do anything with it, you know.
Yeah.
We just gave him a refund and then claimed it back through. You
guys remember that there was a scam probably about 8 years ago on eBay where people would find things at rubbish tips, right, at your local dump, basically, and they would, bring it home and put fake photos of whatever it was in good condition up on eBay. People would buy it, they'd chuck it in a box, and they'd ship it to wherever, poor, unsuspecting customer on the other end. And I actually was victim to this years ago, and I bought a Korg DW6000, and when it got here, it was in such bad condition. And the girl who sold it to me tried to claim that it was damaged in transit. And there's absolutely no way in hell, because of all the other bits and pieces that fell out of the synth, like mouse poo and fluff and coins, and it was shocking. So yeah, that was a bit of eBay seems to have worked out how to get stop that from happening. I think
they have now, haven't they?
Yeah. But that was a nasty thing going on, and people were buying synths and they weren't getting what they were supposed to be getting. That's for sure. Yeah. I used to
love the Korg DW6000 and the 8000. In fact, I bought the 6000 new back in the 80s, and then probably in the early 2000s I was at a car boot sale, and a guy was selling a DW8000, and he wanted 25 quid for it with the X-frame stand.
What?
And I didn't haggle.
Oh, that's a start the car moment, that one.
It was, and he said he said we haven't used it for a while. I bought it for my son to actually learn to play piano on it. He's given up. We haven't switched it on for a year. It may not work. I said I don't care. It's fine, and it did work, and I had it for years. I mean, I've now sold it, but
25 quid for DW8000.
25 quid.
Wow.
It's the only time that's ever happened to me that I've been able to find something like that. But,
now, Kent is saying that mouse poo is worth money if it's vintage. And I actually want to know, Kent, if you've actually had to clean mouse poo out of some of your repairs. I'm now really wondering. And
I've had to clean.
Let's also welcome Andy SynthAddict to the show while he's just popped in.
Hey,
he's probably getting his audio set up. Yep.
Yeah. I've had to clean out dead spiders out of amplifiers. I mean, more than one spider. So,
wow.
And that's the dead spider was in the wrong position. That's why the amp went wrong.
You don't want to be cleaning up dead spiders or alive spiders in Australia. Let me give you the tip.
Yeah, exactly.
While we're here, let's welcome some people who have jumped in very recently. We've got Mr. Darren. Hello, Darren. How you going?
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Am my all levels okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, we can hear you, Darren.
How's the
yes, I'm just
the world over your end?
Not bad. It's cloudy, but it's warm. It's fine. It's great. I'm just about to, for all my Bandcamp followers and supporters, I'm just sending something out now, so you'll all have that if you follow me on Bandcamp.
Look at that, instantaneous. Well, I'm on Bandcamp, so let's see if it turns up. And also, while we got Andy, who's SynthAddict, big hello to you, mate. How's it going, everybody? Did you survive the NAMM apocalypse COVID flu mass pandemic? Have you managed to survive that?
Yeah, it's kind of funny when I got there. I was debating the mask thing because I'm super vaxxed and all that stuff, but I just didn't want to hassle with it and miss out on work and all that stuff. But when I walked around, and pretty much 99% of everyone had no masks on, and as I started to talk to a couple of people, I realized you really do need to lip read in a lousy, noisy place.
Yep.
It's super loud in there. You got to basically work on your other skills because sometimes you just can't hear what they're saying. You need to lip read a little bit, and the mask removes all that, unfortunately. So yeah, I just took the mask off and just roughed it, and so far no problem. Didn't get sick, so that's a good thing.
Wow.
But
you must have dodged it. You must have been good.
I have no super immune system, so it's just one of those lucky things. So.
Yeah. Big shout out. Oh, that's the wrong button. Big shout out to Ken Flux with it. Pierce, who is one of the regulars on the show. He's not feeling too good after manning the booth at the Hydrasynth booth. So yeah, if you're watching, Ken, get well, mate. Hope you don't get too crook from the nasty. It's definitely confirmed he's got
Sadly,
COVID,
he talked to way more people than I did, so being in a booth is pretty rough.
Being sort of stuck in one spot and everyone coming to you.
Very popular stand as well, won't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, Andy, what we're going to get you to do, if some point very soon, is we're going to get you to give us a little bit of a report, a review of NAMM. So, and maybe
sure,
show
I even
us
have a couple audio demos if you want to play them.
Yeah. So get all that ready. We'll probably hit you with that in probably in about half an hour. When we get through the... No worries, there's not a lot of news. By the way, there's no Name That Synth this week because we couldn't quite get a video up and running in time. So no one's fault. It's just that we have busy lives and sometimes we aren't able to do it. So I do apologise if anyone's disappointed with that. But there'll be another one next week. Don't worry, you won't miss out. It's only a week to wait. Kent said that apparently there was a dead huntsman in a CS80. So does that count? No, it doesn't count as mouse poo.
Well, not an actual person then, an actual spider.
Huntsmen are spiders, yes. Yeah.
Are they the poisonous ones?
No, they're not poisonous. They do bite, and they've got a nasty. Well, most of them aren't. I think you might be thinking of tarantulas.
No, there are some huntsmen that are actually, and it's the order of Opilionis, just to get ready.
Right. Didn't know that. So. Not Australian ones. Yeah. Australian ones are massive.
Anyway, you got Australia, I think.
Australian ones are like as big as my hand. I'm not kidding.
Spiders.
They are like that big, but their bodies aren't as big as that part of my hand. It's a lot of leg. But they're very, very scary looking things. They are. But people get them as pets, and not for me. As Ohm Grown said, they're bloody big. Yes, they are. They are indeed.
Yeah, but your seas are dangerous. Your bush area is dangerous. Your houses are dangerous.
Houses are dangerous?
Well, with your little spiders that are like the redbacks.
Yeah, but redbacks are kind of like black widows in the US, right? So it'd be no different to the people in the US with black widows. They don't go near you. It's not like they crawl around everywhere. They keep to themselves unless you go sort of poking around in rubbish piles and under, pavers and old brick piles and things like that. That's where you'll find them, or out in the bush you'll find them. But
we have black widows and brown recluses here.
They just don't want you in there.
Just stay away. That'll be fine. You guys are just worried about nothing. We live here and we're still alive. Now, I've got this friend who seriously believes that Australia doesn't even exist. He reckons it's a hoax. He reckons we're just another part of England somewhere in the world, and they're hiding. And it's an interesting theory. One of those conspiracy theorists. Apparently, the world is flat too. Right. we are going to get stuck into the main part of the show. So we're not going to get sort of worried about too much on the time this week in starting things at 2:00 exactly. I thought what we'd do first is we'll roll the introduction to the main show, which is now, and we'll get stuck on the other side. Let's do it. I don't know why you want my ugly mug up there. You certainly don't. I'm going to quickly change it because there's everyone. Now, big welcome to everyone who's joined the show. We can do a formal hello to. We'll start with Ian. I know we've talked to him and said hello to him before, but this is the formal hello. Ian, welcome to Synth Geekery. Thanks for joining the show. Glad to have you here. Now that you're, you've managed to arrive and everything's all good. Tell us a little bit about your little studio there. What do you got in there? It's looking interesting. Okay,
so what we've got in here, where am I pointing? Quite a bit of cogs. I'm rubbish. I'm absolutely rubbish. Where's my finger going?
Reverse. Yeah.
We've got a Korg DX, not DX, Korg 700, a Mini 700 up there, Ooh. Original. Now that was the reason I bought. That was the first. Not this one, but I bought that as my first synthesizer in I think it was 1979, and stupidly sold it in the 90s because nobody wanted an analog synth then, did they? And then rebought it back for an awful lot more money, probably about 9 years ago. And I love it. It's great. I mean, yes, it doesn't have any effects, so you need to put something else through it. That one's been slightly modified. It's got a CV out on the back, which sort of works. We've also got a little Korg wall there going on. There's a mini Korg just above my head, a Micro X next to it. Behind my head there's a Fostex tape deck and an Op 6 down below and a Hydrasynth down the bottom. These two things here don't live here. They're two workstations. I'm currently working on. I'm joining a function band to play a load of covers. So this would be my live rig, which is a Korg Cross 2 and a microstation. Ooh. The things you can't see is we've got a Kronos over here, which doesn't get used that much actually, to be honest, and I've got a Studio Logic sledge up on the wall, and other few things dotted around as well.
Fantastic. And also right above those cables, is that a Casio?
Oh yeah, it's a Casio Viotone.
Yeah.
And the stylophone over the side.
Oh yeah, the stylophone, yeah. And the little alien or something.
Yeah. That's actually that's my youngest son's is the alien, but I mean he's 31 now, so it's been around a bit really, that alien.
Fair enough. And so when you're not kind of doing all that synthy stuff, you said that you kind of dabble in the arts. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I do some work for we've got a local art centre in the town. So I live, like, say, 50 miles outside of Old York, not New York. So I do bits of work there, and I go to Edinburgh Fringe every year as a reviewer. And I put all that we started doing this I do that with my wife Jane, and we've always been into the arts. So theatre, and it doesn't matter what arts really. The only thing I don't tend to go to would be ballet. I'm not hugely fond of ballet, but all sorts of music, classical music, pop music, rock music, doesn't matter. Comedy, lots of theatre, lots of comedy, all that sort of stuff. So, and when we go to something like Edinburgh Fringe, if you've never been to anything like that, it's got more corporate over the years, but you can actually, you'll see amazing things, amazing concerts or theatre in a church hall, and you do get to see things that you wouldn't normally see. You also get to see some amazing rubbish. And I have actually in previous years, before I was reviewing, I would, if I've paid my argument was that because we go as reviewers, we get quite a lot of the tickets free. So I do now feel that I should stay till the end of the show, whether I like it or not. And I sort of struggle with that review business of, this is somebody's they've worked really hard at this. And I don't want, and my opinion is just an opinion. Other people will love it. And I don't want to then go and trash somebody else's hard work, really. So occasionally we would say, look, this wasn't for us. Go make your own mind up. Tell them when the show is. But I have to say, over the years, like last year, we went and we saw 35 shows in 10 days, and so it's about 5 or 6 shows a day. It's quite tiring, and then doing the videos on the night through the night. And most of them were 3 to 5 star shows. Some amazing stuff. I think there's only 2 shows that were rubbish.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, poor. Rubbish isn't the right word. So we do that. So we're heavily into the arts, and that that stuff. It's not there all the time on the YouTube channel, but certainly from the beginning of August through until probably the end of August, there'll be nothing to do with music or synths. It will all be arts and music.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, speaking of your YouTube channel, I do actually have it up and open here, and as you can see from the banner, it does say music and art. Look at that. That's definitely the right channel, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is because I'm subscribed to it. Now, one thing I've noticed, I have been for a while actually. One thing I have noticed is, when was it? Was it about a year ago, or was it maybe 6 months ago? You did the Korg 700 video, didn't you?
I did a few of them. Because of this relationship with Korg, and they'd said about sending the Op6, and I said yes. They said, well, how would you like our new remade Korg 700 FS? And I went, oh yeah. But they sent me the prototype, which I have to say I was less than impressed with, if I'm honest. Oops.
Yeah, that's all right. That's just me.
So I was completely honest with them about it. I mean, I thought from a build quality point of view, for is it 1,700 quid the reselling it for? I mean, I know they all sold, but for the price that they were asking for it, I thought it was overpriced. Now, having said that, and seen Jamie's review that he did, I didn't have, well, at the time that I reviewed it, there was literally nothing written about it, and Korg couldn't tell me anything about what was going to be in the final one. So all of that extra stuff that was added wasn't there on the one that I actually looked at. So the fact it would do, the arpeggiator will do much more than the actual prototype would, and I think I did say that, we weren't quite sure whether the final version was going to be, quite the same, and it clearly they added a lot more in software terms to the final version. I did also manage to break a knob on it, which I told them about. So I mean, the original one has got metal spikes, whereas the new one, they put plastic spikes, and literally the plastic spike, it didn't break the plastic spike, but the actual plastic knob that was into the spike came off. So they'd glued it back.
So you mean the potentiometer itself?
No, it's just one of the little controls. There's a metal spike that holds the switches, and the quality of the switches on the new one are just, if you're paying that sort of money, I would expect to see better quality switches. Really, I could see if you've got that synth and you go and gig with it, I could see those switches breaking off.
Right.
Yeah. And I did feed that back to them.
They're at the front, aren't they? They're right at the front. Yeah. That's not a good idea.
And I did feed that back to him. I mean, I love the fact it had a reverb, because when I used mine, I used to use mine live back in the 80s, and I used to have what was called a Melos tape box. So I would use a tape delay, a tape reverb, box just to get that, because it needs something else. It needs a reverb. So to have a proper spring reverb in the new one was great, really. But my argument was the price, and I'm sort of hoping that they bring out a mini key version with a lot less price, but that's completely unconfirmed. Korg have not said anything about that at all. It's just the fact that they brought out the FS version for full size, if you like. The hope that they might do a slightly smaller version, or even a version, a soft synth version. I would buy the soft synth version. I think you're muted.
Muted, Ranz.
I was going to say, take a drink. I haven't had a chance to play with one yet because I just haven't seen one locally here, and I really enjoyed your videos. By the way, I should make. Yeah. So I've posted your link in the chat too, so to your YouTube channel. So for those who have not seen Ian before, you've got now a chance to go and watch not just his 700 videos. He's got lots of videos. Sorry, Ian, I interrupted you.
Now, I was just going to say that the fact that I had the 700, not the 700S, and I had to compare the 700. Although and it's the first time I played what in effect was a 700S. Yep. And if I was to sell that one, I would swap it for an original 700S if I could get one.
Yeah, if you can get one for the price as well. That's the other thing. Get one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I think I paid 600. So I was just going to say I paid 600 for that about, I don't know, as I say, about 8 years ago, and they're probably double that now. I don't know.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these things that you kind of wish, wow, I should have paid more attention to that when I was looking at that on eBay or Reverb or And now all of a sudden,
I should never have sold it. I sold it for 200 quid.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
It was stupid, really.
People are going to say the same about digital synths soon, so don't worry. Hold on to your digital synths, people. Yeah. I do want to say formally hello to Darren. Darren, you did make a quick hello before, but this is the formal hello. How's your week been, mate?
Formally, it's been okay. Hello. Yeah, it's just been fine. It's nothing special. Just another week. Another slogging about for not much. And then nothing to spend at the end of it. So
nothing like a bit of yeah.
I bet that's all change up.
Now I'm just reading your message. I'll bring us all back together. It says for those. Can I read it? Because anyone who's not on your Bandcamp, is this kind of breaking any rules? Can I read your message to everyone?
No, you can tell them because they can join Bandcamp then.
Yep. So. Hi to everyone. Hope you're all well. Just a little update on Rave Dave. Now, if you don't know who Rave Dave is, jeez, you just haven't lived. There is a Rave Dave album coming up. And if you look carefully, you will see not 9 tracks, but 10. It's almost secret, but a bit special. The track 10, The Ramblings of a Purple Loon. So do check that out on his Bandcamp. And if you're wondering, that kind of looks like... Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? That kind of looks like... Is it this button? I always get the button wrong. It's this button, yay! That's his Bandcamp. If you're wondering, I'll put a link in the chat. Don't worry, Darren. We are all friends here. So I want people to...
It's not long before it's out neither, so...
I want people to support, Darren comes on this show... and he doesn't ask for anything. He just comes on for the sheer love of it, just like we all do. So I think it's a very small thing for our illustrious viewers to, at least go check out his music. I think it's the least we can do. Go check it out.
Even if you can just listen to it, if nothing else.
Yeah. Even if it makes your ears bleed. No, just kidding, Darren.
Well, Rave Dave's album, mate.
and on that major disappointment, I'll say hello to SynthAddict, who's Andy. Big hello to you, mate. Obviously, we went to NAMM last week. You want to share a little bit of that?
I was a good boy. I only bought one thing. It was $25 at Sam Ash. So little pocket kalimba.
Hey.
Yay! Make it go ping.
Yeah. It was good times. Lots of endless walking. Actually, on the day I met Manny and Chris, and hung out with some other guys from YouTube land, and pretty much pretty much half that day was no looking at gear, just chatting. And actually, it was the best day, to be honest. Just hanging out with people, telling stories, looking at a few things here and there, but just it was just, you think, hey, you go to NAMM to constantly go call the gear and drool everything, but the hanging out with the people is the best part. So
yeah. Did you bump into Andrew Mee, who was at the MIDI stand?
I didn't. I don't even know if I made it to the stand. Because of chatting and other distractions, I basically missed probably half the show. I usually walk the entire show, all the guitars, all the pianos, all the weird booths and stuff like that, and all the pavilions. And this time I probably saw about half or less.
Right.
But it's fine because I had a good time. So it's.
So as you're probably aware, that the most, I'm not naming everyone, obviously, because it's impossible to do that, but the most sort of relevant people that are in kind of, our community would be Chris, who's Chris Synthiant. He was there posting pictures. I think you bumped into him, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Obviously Ken was there.
He posted a picture with Manny and me. So.
Yeah, that's right. And obviously you saw Ken, didn't you, at Hydrosynth?
Yeah. He was actually, I got him on Kent Spong's Spong Arms show to say hi. So.
Oh, good on you. Excellent.
In between showing carpet swatches. So.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Everyone loves the carpet.
Yeah, we're all into the carpets now, Andy, aren't we?
Yeah. What we want to know is, did we manage to convince Kent into buying something really ridiculously horrible for his carpet? If not, you failed.
You could get to add more stains to it. All those dogs.
Yes, good point.
The sticky patches. Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no, I got to go there.
So there was some interesting Facebook posts during the week from various people. I've just mentioned a few, of course. So it would have been amazing to go to NAMM, I reckon. I actually got an invite to go, which is different to the standard thing that you get. I don't know why, but I did. If they were able to pay for my airfare, I would have definitely gone. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So maybe, you never know, next year. Who knows in a big city? Andy, that's awesome. We'll pick your brains a bit more with NAMM in a few minutes. And Brooksy, big hello to you. I did say hello earlier, but always nice to have you on the show, mate. I'm glad you're feeling a bit better.
Yeah, thank you. I've already said a thanks to the people who sent me good wishes, but it bears re-saying. So thank you to everyone who did send good wishes to me via the little chats in various streams and also Facebook and other media. That was very welcome. That cheered me up quite a lot. So thank you for doing so. So what we've been up to, I mean, let me work this out now. A week ago Friday, went with Jim Glue to Home Firth to do another EMOM open mic night, and we met up with Jamie of Synths there. He was there doing his set. He's posted his video up on his channel already, which was really nice. Really enjoyed that. Again, a really nice crowd, but unfortunately the problem was I perhaps shouldn't have done it because I hadn't really been very well even before that, and it just wiped me out, which is why I wasn't around on Saturday last week. So sorry for having to duck out because I was at the NHS drop-in centre for hours and getting nothing done. Anyway, so it's not been a good week health-wise at all. But the other bit of news is Grace Griffin and myself have set up a joint Bandcamp channel for our Hardware Jam tracks because quite a few people had asked us for them. Can we get these? Can we have these? Can we? So we've done that. Grace has spent some time doing a bit of sort of mastering on them and tidying them up. So that's now up on Andy and Grace on Bandcamp, and there are 8 tracks on that. So it's like a mini album or a big EP, what you like. Again, it's available free download or pay what you want. That's absolutely fine. and that they're up there, and if I do say so, sounding really quite nice. So, if people are interested in getting hold of those, feel free to pop over to Bandcamp and have a listen. Because I'm actually going over to Grace's later to do another one for this week's Hardware Jams challenge, and looking forward to it, seeing what we can do with it this week. So.
Yeah, I'll post the link to that now in the chat, so everyone's got that too, by the way.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Franz.
I mean, it's really good, Andy.
It is. It is really
thanks,
good.
Ian.
It is. Really
again, I appreciate the fact that you featured us again on your radio show, which was very welcome to see. I enjoyed listening to that. I had it on while I was doing my housework. Enjoyed listening to
good
that.
stuff. Thank you.
Good to actually really enjoyed. Yeah, quite a lot of stuff people we know, like Martin's track. That was great. That one. The seashell motor, whatever it was, and David Surchek's track. That was cool too. Really, I just really enjoyed listening to it.
That was good. Yeah. Now,
really enjoyed those.
I know it's probably not really good to sort of mangle a whole bunch of Bandcamp stuff at the same time, but it is kind of topical while we are talking about Bandcamp, and there is a person that does regularly come into this channel to watch us, and that's Lady Aptitude. And there is the Bandcamp happening on there. So all the way from lovely New York. So I'll link that in as well. So make sure you check out Lady Aptitude's stuff on Bandcamp.
I had a good listen. Oh, someone's just... Hey, thank you, whoever that is. I don't know who he was, but thanks. I'd listened to some of those last night. I'm going to download those when I get them out. So
absolutely.
Actually, Lady Aptitude, if you're in the chat, I really enjoyed listening to those last night. So that's really great.
And in fact, I'm going to put her on next month's radio show, or this month's. It'll be 1st of July. So yes, she's going to be on there too. I'll play two or three tracks of it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's great.
Need to get her on the show too. I reckon it'd be good.
Definitely.
Right. Speaking of which, chatties are amazing and they're awesome people, and we probably should say hello to them. I think it's that button. So we did say earlier, but as you guys know, we kind of have a second shift in the show. That we have the early people coming at about 1, and then we have pretty much the main group of people sort of hitting about 2 o'clock in the UK time. So that's why we sort of shot twice. Big hello to everyone who is in chat, and thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you're watching this on a replay, being in chat is live is where you got to be. It's the hip thing. It's all where all the cool kids are. So I understand some of you guys can't watch it live because it's like 3 in the morning where you are, whatever. But anyway, that's fine. Big hello to you if you are watching it on the replay. Always appreciate you guys making nice comments after the video's been put up anyway. We shall try and have a laugh. What do you think, guys? Let's do it. I don't know how we're going to go, though. Some of these can be pretty cheesy. But, it's now social media world, and if you're into the meta stuff, if you're watching Mark Zuckerberg, it's your fault. All this is your fault. We would never have blocked anyone in the past. But anyway, moving right along. This instrument, this is where I'd put my instrument variable if I had one. Now, instrumental variable, I should say, if I had one. This one is kind of like a nerdy thing. I don't know if you guys would get this. I found this on kind of like a maths sort of site. So you might have to think a little bit deeper about this one. Engineering, maths. This may not be humorous. It might
not
just
quite
be...
I'm not good.
Haven't got it?
Nope.
It's my instrumental variable.
Yeah. Think statistics. Think statistics in maths, and you might get it. Let's go to the next one. Now, this is not the news section. This is actually, if you look really, really closely, this is the Akai MPC, and it's got the new MPC tuner on the screen. As you can see, someone is hitting an F, and if you look over the keyboard, yes, they're definitely hitting an F. Yep, everything looks probably okay. Why is this funny? Well, do we really need to tune a digital synth? It is a Yamaha DX100 here, people. Do these go out of tune? That's the funny part. Well, technically it could. You could detune it, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, that one, someone thought it was funny. And that's it. That's it for memes this week. Where are we? We're on this button here. What was your favourite this week? Was it the completely flying over your head instrumental variable statistical maths joke that no one got? Or is it the MPC tuner that nobody kind of worked out that that's a digital synth and usually you don't have to tune them?
Blocked is the best one.
Blocked is definitely the best one, right?
Yeah, that girl is definitely my wife. That's what I get. I just need to.
You need to block your wife.
I do, yeah. Sorry, darling, if you ever see this.
She's watching right now, and she's just unfriended you on Facebook.
She's just banging. She'll be banging on the ceiling.
Fair enough. Everyone in chat saying blocked as well, which I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, there were some really risque memes this week, if I say so myself. So I wasn't really going to put them on. So yeah, we'll revisit next week. Next week should be better. Right, moving right along, we have news. Yes, what have we got here? Not Xerxes Mk II. This is so funny how it does this every week. Oh, it's kind of like, Ranzee goes and plays with this until he gets it right. There we go, bang. Okay, nothing like a sneak peek anyway. Well, guess what? Whoever owns an MPC now has a new update, and we do need to talk about it, don't we? Because what's in it? Well, there's a new sounds mode, there's new air effects, there's probability and ratcheting. Bang! That's the big one in my opinion. Especially Brooksy, we like ratcheting, don't we? MPC tuner, which we just joked about. By the way, that is actually very handy, especially if you plug in your modular gear in there and you want to keep it in tune. Actually, I can see myself using that quite a bit, actually. Pad to key group is very handy for those who are doing those key groupy sort of things. And I think that one will be big for the live performers. MIDI key splits I like, and filtering and performance enhancements. So I was going to show the video, but I'm not showing any videos at the moment because I'm currently on a strike at the moment with the tubes.
Still in the naughty corner, Rant.
Yeah, still got a month to go. Who's had a chance to update your MPC? I mean, it's only just come out. Anyone updated their MPC? I think there's only two of us that have got MPC here, right? That'd be just me.
I've watched a few of the videos. Yeah,
I have a Force, but I haven't updated it for a while.
Yeah,
Brooksy.
I watched. Whose video was it? It was going through the. Was it Gabe Miller? I think Gabe Miller did one, quite a short one, but he was talking about one feature where it's so quick to put your sample into a key group and spread it across. Now, I don't even remember a few weeks ago when I talked about the problem that I had trying to get the bloody thing to do that. And this seems to be the fix, which goes, all you need to do is that and that. And it will then, you've got it as a key group. I was thinking, if it's going to be that easy, that will be a major blessing. And so that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. There's already too many effects and sounds and things for my little brain to cope with. So more effects just means more things I'm never going to actually probably even get a chance to look at. But that one function, if I can work it out how I can just put a sample in and have it across in a key group easy and quickly and play it back from a keyboard, that's me happy. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and I think ratcheting you'll look forward to too, because you like that sort of stuff, right?
I don't actually do it a lot. All the sort of ratchety stuff that's been on the jams has all been Grace. Grace has done a lot.
Fair enough.
Cycles. And I can do a little bit on the beat step and things like that, but I never really do. Even though I was looking at a ratcheting module from Dirtfer. No, don't stop it, Andy. Just stop it.
Don't
stop it.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then you'll start blaming me, and then there'll be people egging you about blaming me. No,
I never blamed you. I didn't blame you.
I know you didn't. Someone else did though. Look, ratcheting is something that I think the MPC has needed for a long time. So it's actually, it's a cool thing. Lisa's actually saying it's not out until the 23rd. So if you're rushing out to try and get it, That's probably why none of us have installed it yet. But at least they've announced it anyway, and we've seen videos on it. So go watch the videos on Akai Pro's YouTube channel, and I don't have to play them.
I watched quite a good video just before this. It was I can't remember the guy's channel now, but he was talking about the developments that Akai have put in place with the Mac M1 and related chips, and making that seriously Mac compatible now. And that was actually really quite interesting. And also the actual MPC software, which you can download onto your computer, just seems to be, again, that bit more enhanced. Not that I've ever used it on here yet, but that again seems like an interesting development for those who like to use it on their computer screen and then port it over.
Can I just ask you a question? I'm a guy that's never used an MPC. How easy are they? And how easy and how intuitive are they?
Ooh, it's a very subjective question. So I find it easy.
Sorry.
Brooksy probably is sitting on the fence. I don't know.
He's not. He finds it bloody hard.
Yeah, look, I think sequences are really up to the person individual. I think if you're looking at like the sort of sampler sort of drum machine, groovebox type machines that are out there, you've got Deluge, you've got the new Isla Instruments SP2400, you've got the MPC range. There's a whole bunch, right? You've also got Native Instruments Machine. What else? There's heaps, right? When you're looking at all of that, they kind of have all different workflows, and they all have different ways that they want you to sort of approach, making a track or making a song, or, arranging and all those sort of things. So I kind of feel, in my opinion, I kind of feel MPC does more of a sequency type, that sort of approach. Like, you've got to think about things as tracks and sequences and like that sort of logic. So it's not, I'm not being, this is not holistic. Obviously you can do other things in it, and yes, it's a lot more flexible than just that. But from a very, very basic point of view, if you kind of think down those lines, I think you'll be okay with it. But for me, being a kind of nerdy synth sort of guy, what I like about the MPC is the MIDI capabilities of it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and it's actually pretty killer, the amount of things that you can do with this thing just with MIDI. And then when you add that it's a sampler and it's an audio track player and all sorts of other stuff in it, and it's got some amazing effects, and it's getting huge, this thing. So when you put all that as a bundle, you look at the price, you think it's really good value.
This is true.
Because I'm not. Sorry, Andy, go on.
Go
ahead, Brooksy.
No. I was just going
to say that I hadn't.
We'll do Brooksy first, and then we'll go back to you, Ian. Yeah. We'll make it easier. There we go. Person with the screen is talking.
Yeah, what you're saying about the bang for the buck. Really, it's by far the best thing out there, without a doubt. And it's just that my brain doesn't cope very well with the sheer overwhelming amount of stuff that's in there. And I think that's also a major problem. You've got to take it a little bit at a time. And you've really got to sit. I have to be honest and say that the problem for me is that the process of discovery on the MPC is nothing like as pleasurable a process as it is using, say, the modular and trying to work out some of the mysteries of that and how getting that to work. That seems to be a much more enjoyable process than sitting with the MPC. But I know that, I've just got to really I know I've been saying this for 2 bloody years, but we'll keep working with it. And but yeah, and other people, of course. I mean, it amazed me when we did that jam where it was using the least used bits of gear, that Grace actually took to it really quickly. She was able to work out how you do the boom, 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 boom. And I was like, how did you know that was how you did? Where was I think it's just the way some people's brains work. That's all. And
it's subjective.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, for the minute, because actually there's things about it that I really, really love. I don't hate the box at all. I really don't. I mean, I love the synth and the plugins and what you can do with those. They just sound awesome. And if it was 600 quid for a good polysynth, then it was money well spent anyway. So that's not an issue. It's not actually going to go anywhere because I love those things. But it's just a case of pressing on and making more progress with it.
Yeah. So, Ian, what you want to add to that?
I was just going to say that, you know, groove boxes are definitely not my thing. I did have an Arc, a Zoom Arc 96, which I struggled with. And I talk about struggle. I mean, I talked.
Everyone did.
Well, yeah, and I even read the manual and still couldn't get my head around it. I just I ended up, I've sold it, which I'm really quite pleased about, really, because it sat there, getting dust. I get it. Sorry.
I think Andy's got one of those.
Yeah, I was going to say, you think the 96 is bad. You should try the 48. It's way worse.
Well, that was with the tied ring. Yeah, I was so glad. I'm glad it's gone. It's very rare that I would say that. I usually miss things, but you know, and I got a good price for it. So that money is to go into something else. And I have been talking to Lisa. We were talking, I think, about the circuit, and I'm not rushing it. It's not because it's not an area that I know anything about, really.
Yeah, the circuit's another one, isn't it?
I want it to be something that I actually use and can really get a lot out of, really.
I think, you know, where you are, you got access to some gear. So the Electro is actually, you know, Brooksy will probably back me up here. The Electro is pretty cool, sort of sampler / sequencer. It's pretty easy to get up and running on that.
Yeah, I've used it. I've used
the EMX,
one
ESX
of them.
are the best Electribes.
I kind of feel they are the simplest, you know, in terms of intuitiveness. That you don't really get too lot. There's a few annoyances with them. You know, there's limitations and the stupidity with having to like load things in before you boot it, and like just there's some annoyances.
Yeah.
But once you get your sort of head around those annoyances, they're not major issues. They're actually pretty easy to get going. So.
Yeah. So it's a long-term project. You know, I don't quite know when I'll buy one, but I need to go down to Gear for Music and see if I can play with them.
Now, before we go on, I must say obviously a very, very big thank you to Wagoo for the CHF chuff of 5. We like to say chuff here because it doesn't make any sense to anyone except me. Right. So we talked about Akai MPC. Sound like an Aussie now. I do want to get on to the next bit of news, and that is there's an announcement from Brad Holland, who is Isla Instruments, and that is he started up a new website called Gear Trader, geartrader.net. And I did promise him that I'd give him a little plug for it, and there it is. There's your plug. But while we're at it, why don't we have a little look-see over on this button here? There it is. There's a live website. It's always good to check to see if these exist. Now, what he told me is this is basically, you know, a place for you to trade, you know, secondhand gear, and you can see, you know, he's basing this on different sort of fees. So he's competing. We won't talk about who he's competing with, but you guys get an idea who he's competing with.
Yeah.
So that is basically how it is. Now he's using this to get a lot of stuff on himself, but you can see already there's some gears already on here and some decent stuff. He's selling a bit of his gear personally. So look, there's a Roland System 100 there. There's a Prophet VS. There's a Korg EX8000. Yep.
So stop a second there, Ranzee.
Yep.
See, look, just don't scroll it on. There you go.
Yep. What? Which one? There, up here or down here?
Now switch back to me.
He's looking at the freebase.
I'm looking at the freebase. There you go.
Where was the freebase?
$500 for that.
Hold.
$500 for that.
Hang on. Where's the freebase?
$500.
Oh,
Yeah, but Andy,
let's get the listing.
Andy, last week my mum was £24,000.
It still is apparently. There you go. $500 US is this is a US dollars, by the way, if you're wondering.
That's a crazy price. I'm sorry, but that's silly. I mean, it was only about 90 quid when it was.
Put yours up for $4.99. Winner, hey?
Yeah, I actually want to switch it on and see if it works.
So anyway,
you get a full 19-inch trackware. Mine's just a little tiny mini thing, and it was 24 grand.
If anything, I think you guys will find some really nice gear on there at the moment. I definitely was looking at the System 100 going, if only I had some money.
Did you see the price of the Oberheim 8 voice? $55,000.
Yes, I saw that.
Ouch.
Get yourself an OBX8 while they are brand new, people. That's what I'll say to you. If you can afford it, do it. Because whilst we joked about the price a few weeks ago when we were talking about that synth, it really is cheap compared to what it's going to be when they stop making them. Which you can almost put money on it. They're only going to make them for a little while. They tend to do that.
Just listen to this. Thanks,
Steve.
Me up.
That's the 8 voice though. That's not the OBX8. Geez, you'd be upset if the OBX8 was not working when you can't even get them yet. Right. So yeah, head on over to Gear Trader if you want to sell your gear. Plug done. Next thing, bang, which we did allude to earlier, is Black Corporation in Japan have now released the Xerxes Mk II. And if you're wondering what the Xerxes is, if you've been sleeping under a rock and you're not really a synth person, you're just all of a sudden joining us, that's okay. You're allowed to have a newbie here. It is based on the Elka SynthX, this synth. So if you don't want an Elka SynthX, go have a listen to Jean-Michel Jarre, Rendezvous. The whole album is pretty much Elka SynthX, especially the track called Laser Harp. Wow, that is an incredible track. Other than that, yeah, we are looking at price-wise $4,499 US. Look, it's a fair chunk, but these guys do make a fairly decent synth. I will admit, I've got a very humble beginning with Black Corporation with my URAC module, but it is definitely well made. So the other option you've got is if you think, wow, I can't really afford $4,500 US to buy a synth, I really want that Elka SynthX sound, you can make one yourself, and it's generally about maybe about 30% cheaper to make it yourself. So it's a fairly decent saving if you're handy with a soldering iron, that is. But I will warn you, there's a hell of a lot of soldering. It's a massive job. Just go have a look at Robin Vincent's channel and ask him how his Decca stream is going.
It's been going on for over a year, hasn't it?
Long ago.
I don't envy you at all, mate.
No.
Corrosive Abuser says, I'm gutted. No, I'd be gutted if I recently bought a Mark I. I don't think you've been able to buy a Mark I for a while. So they've been sort of unavailable there's like a massive gap. And there was a few people talking about the Xerxes probably 6 months ago on the show, and we were talking about, it'd be nice if someone did a Elka SynthX clone, and they're saying, well, get the Xerxes. Well, you can't. Well, now you can. It's Mark II. So they have actually improved the the Xerxes from Mark I to Mark II quite a bit. There were a few people that weren't quite 100% happy with the first one, so they've gone and listened to those people and improved it and added a couple of new features. So yeah, who here would, if money wasn't an issue, who would buy a Xerxes?
If money wasn't an issue, yes, I would.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, if I was so rich that it didn't matter, it really didn't matter, then yes, I would.
Yeah.
Because I love.
Gerd Mertens says he's got the Mark I.
Yeah, Gert's got the Mark I.
Right.
There you go. Yeah. I think the criticisms with the Mark I were pretty technical. So I think the average musician probably wouldn't even know what it meant or wouldn't have discovered the issues. So you got sort of engineering.
I'm okay with the Xils-labs one for now, so that one's okay. It's cheaper.
Yeah, actually not bad either. Actually not bad. That's probably one of my favorite VSTs. So yeah, give them a plug. Absolutely. So if you can't afford the Black Corporation stuff, the real thing, you can always get the VST from Xils-labs. Well, they're only about $30-40 or so. They're not very expensive at all. The Xils-labs stuff,
Pretty cheap,
from memory, pretty cheap. Yeah.
That sounds great.
If you guys want to listen to Xerxes, head over to the Black Corporation YouTube channel. There's a demo on there, or there's a demo in one of your favorite synth-based gear websites. I'm not going to mention who, but you'll go find it on there.
That guy, Synth Mania, Paolo, actually bought one a year or two ago. He put some demos up. I haven't seen him for a while, but
yeah. He didn't have the SynthX though, did he? I think that was the only thing.
He has an OBX, and I think he got a SynthX as well.
He did get a SynthX?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. He does some amazing videos, that guy. I haven't spoken to him for ages. I need to catch up with him again. He's
talking about the Korg booth at NAMM 2020. He's a cool guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're all looking at the 2600 from Korg, so.
Yeah. Oh, he loves that sort of stuff, doesn't he? Yeah. I mean, I've been watching his videos for many years. He's like probably one of the original synth YouTubers. So, talk about YouTube all the way back to like 2010 or something. Crazy, long time. Been there for ages. Right. What do we got next? We don't have any price watch because there's nothing really decent to show this week. We don't have...
Gear Trader sort of did the job there, didn't it?
It did, yeah. We kind of doubled up on that, didn't we? And we don't have any Name That Synth this week because we weren't able to get a video in time, so that's fine. But what we can do is we can go across to Andy, and if you want, Andy, you can show or demo some of the stuff.
Actually, I sent you that link in the private chat. If you want, it's probably easier if you play it than if I play it. Goes through the whole thing.
In the private chat?
They are YouTubes, but they're my YouTube, so you shouldn't get any issues with them.
When you say private chat, do you mean the vMix one, or do you mean there's something else?
vMix, yeah, okay. vMix.
Okay,
I mean, the first link you probably want to play, it's just the Soma Enter that I was messing around with. The second link is just some isolated OBX8 sounds if you want to play them, but that's not, I mean, people can listen to those later if they want. So.
Okay, let's tee up the first one. Sorry, just give me a second to cut and paste links across. And
I basically just walked up to the booth, said, "Oh man, I didn't know you guys had this here," and just started noodling with it, and then hooked up my recorder to it, and just did a quick. Not knowing what the hell I was doing at first, just playing around with it. There's some chapter stops there, if you want to jump to some certain spots to make it a little more fun to watch. So just jump the chapter stops down there.
Is this the right one to do at the start?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, just hit the chapter stops at the bottom there, so you can jump to the different spots.
It's not showing the chapter spots on here.
It's in the. You have to go to your the about section below.
Oh, okay, cool, got it. All right, let's start. Now, make sure we can hear this first.
Yeah, jump to that drone one. That's the best part, probably. And at the very end, there's a little video stop there, so you can see it in action.
Whereabouts?
There's a chapter stop for it. I think 629, something like that. You can see the stereo effect as I'm moving to different sides. I didn't know at the time, but you had to use the certain pads for the springy part and the twangy part, and then they also had another couple pads for engaging some more of the effects. So I was running out of fingers and didn't know what I was doing, so that's the best I could do at short notice.
All right, it's good. It was really good. Now
But
the next one is
and it's
you go.
just some OBX8 sounds. Yeah, there's nothing fancy. It's just if you haven't heard isolated sounds of no one actually playing any songs, this is just a couple quick sounds that I grabbed off the box that just sound great.
Okay.
Coming up is the polyphonic portamento stuff that's really famous, like the THX type sounds. Little Steve Miller Band type stuff. Great sound effects. Helicopter, jet engine. Lots of stuff. The jet engine coming up is uncanny. It's got all these harmonics there and stuff.
Go to the filter. 18.
It's Airwolf.
That's awesome. We won't play all 7 minutes of it though, but that's on your YouTube channel, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So that everyone can go check that out. Well, one thing I like about that is that there's no effects, right? That's all just basically
raw
oscillators and yeah. Wow. Geez, start putting the money away for that, I think. Wow.
And what's really fun is they curated the patches so well that when you're in the main, I think it was the OBX bank, as you go through, the first couple banks of patches, you go, okay, that's that Tangerine Dream song, and that's that Tangerine Dream song.
Yeah.
There's that song. There's the one that Pat's using that song, and then so like they really curated the sounds well. So out of the box, you're just like, wow, this is just. It's if you're doing covers, it's perfect. If you're not doing covers, it's still fun to have them. So
It's almost kind of a little bit salesy to say, oh, this is a synth that you can have the patches of the XA and all those historical Oberheim synths. But in a way, it's not salesy at all. It's kind of like it's actually brilliant. You basically buy the latest synths that they've made, and it literally can sound like all of those other three synths. Plus, it's also got its
the
own.
other fun thing too is some of the banks have the same presets, but they're emulating the different engines in each section,
And they
so
sound
you can
different,
hear what
yeah.
the differences are.
Mm.
Yeah, which is really cool. So
Yeah. When you played it, like what was your impression of the build and the user interface and that sort of thing?
So I've never touched a real Oberheim other than my Matrix 6. So just first time ever getting in front of that interface was fun.
Yeah.
Of course, it has the screen on it, which is new, and it has the banks from all the classic polysynths that they made there. So it's a way different experience than the original, obviously, but it's a really nice key bed. The aftertouch was nice on it. The wooden sides were attractive, so it's very nice. I know a lot of people like the pinstripey bit from the other models,
Mm-hmm.
but the model they emulated that has the gray, I think it looks nice as well. So I'm happy with the look.
Fantastic.
So,
Yeah.
It's a nice unit. Got to save my pennies though. I don't know if I can afford that anytime soon.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely something that you'd have to really, really, really want to be able to sort of with money with that. Thanks really much for showing and sharing that with us, Andy. That was
Sure, yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah.
I had to have something to show from all my stuff. I was mostly yakking the whole time, so
And watching carpets as well.
pretty much, yeah. So
Yeah. I'm very interested in the Soma Enna. Is it called an Enna?
inner, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Enna,
it means like inner
But, I mean,
spirit, inner energy.
Yeah. I mean, I love bonkers synths like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to buy a Terra as soon as it's available. I'm going to buy
Terra's
not the wooden, yeah, not the wooden one. I'll buy the plastic one. I don't, but I'm definitely going to I'll order one of them. I mean, but I like those sort of weird things. I'm waiting till there's I don't know if you've heard of it. There's a company called Folk Tech who do modules as well, but they do something
really
called a
weird
Nano
stuff,
Garden. Yeah, and I want a Nano
the
Garden.
wire sticking up and all the contact.
Yeah,
points and all
that's
that.
the one. Yeah. Now in January, I think it was January, February. They were pre-production. They're off their website at the moment, and I keep going back, waiting till the moment. I've even emailed them and said, look, when am I going to be able to order one of these? So, all the ones they're making at the moment, I think, are sold. And I think you have to wait months and months and months. But I want one.
The only thing I don't like about that folk tech stuff is it's heavily aimed at noise music, which if that's your thing, that's great. But a lot of stuff I heard from it was really harsh.
I heard there was a couple of videos that I watched, and they weren't doing the noise thing actually. 'Cause I'm not into the noise music at all, and I thought I quite liked the fact that I could do something that wasn't noisy with it. Something quite delicate would be my approach, really.
Yeah. Wow. I'm on the fence. Like, I like noise. You guys know that I like noise, so I've done plenty of examples of noise before. But at the same time, I also like, the clean sound. Like, to me, the Oberheim is just one of the cleanest sounding, synths you've ever heard. It's almost pure, isn't it? It's like if you were to look up the definition of a pure vintage analog, you'd have to say it'd be the Oberheim, wouldn't it? It's do they use the SSI filters in that? Have I got that right? Are they using the or are they different?
I actually forgot. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
I just can't remember what they said in the thing. I've just completely memory blank. Someone in the chat might tell us what sort of, or is it just are they literally just recreations of the original filters? I'm not sure. But yeah, that just sounded so good. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I got to be careful.
I went back there
not to
like
listen too
4
much
times to play, and the last time I recorded some stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. See,
Yeah,
it lured you.
That says it all, Andy. Actually.
SEM and CEM filters is what X101 is saying in chat. I think it's SEM and not SSI. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Thanks, Scott. Good on you, mate. Geez, it's time you came back on the show, buddy. Hook me up next week. We'll see if we can get you back on next week. I am going to wrap the show up, guys. We're just about hit the 2-hour mark, and I actually have to go and do something else, believe it or not, before my bedtime tonight. I've got one more thing to do. So I just wanted to thank everyone who's joined us today. We'll start with Darren. Thanks, mate, for being part of the show. You always bring a bright light into your studio whenever you're on the show, and a bright light into everyone else's studio.
Yeah, well, it's usually dark, so I thought I'd have it bright. Yeah, thanks for having us.
And kick Dave up the butt and tell him to hurry up with his tracks. We're dying to see it. So,
they're done. It's just the last track in the video to release the album, which he's working on. And the 10th track, Ramblings of a Purple Loon, is something to behold. I'll tell you, it's something completely different for an album.
Now, Darren, did you see the email that I sent you with the boxes of Bastles? I thought you would be interested in it.
I did.
Boxes and boxes of Bastles.
Boxes of Bastles. Yes,
Yeah.
will be definitely a big park bench. That.
I thought you
A line
that.
of park benches, in fact.
I thought you'd enjoy that. Once again, Brooksy, thanks for joining us, matey. Nice to have you on the show.
Oh, pleasure. No, thank you. It's good to be back.
Let us know how you go this week with all your endeavours as well, and try not to sell. Try not to sell your FB383. Try not to sell it
for $500. No,
yeah.
I'm doing a jam tonight with Grace, and that'll go up on Hardware Jams probably tomorrow, and on Friday of this coming week, so Friday the 16th, I think it is, going to Leeds for another EMOM open mic night at the Fox and Newt in Leeds. Looks like a really nice venue. Again, Jamie's going to be there, Jim's going to be there, so I'm going to do that on Friday. Quite getting into that. That's a real good event. I've enjoyed the 2 that I've done, so I'll go to this one in Leeds. It's not too far to go, and hopefully this time I'll get some decent video footage and recordings of it, because that didn't work too well at home for Perth. So yeah, that's us.
Awesome. And
I was going to come and watch you at home first, Andy. I was telling Jim.
Yeah, you were saying, but other things got in the way. I mean, there'll be more. And try and get. You should just put a thing together with a couple of circuits and something. And
yeah, definitely.
We'll put your name down on the list, Darren.
The Vestal.
Yeah, the funny thing is that I haven't actually got a Vestal.
That's what he tells us
about that.
That's what he tells us.
And I'd be there, Andy, in Leeds. I'd be there in Leeds, except I'm down in the southwest on Friday. So otherwise, I would have been coming over.
Just bullet dodging there, Ian.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. Yeah.
There's another one in Leeds on the 11th.
You never know. I might even get Rave Dave to play live.
So the New England Synth Fest, is that what you guys are talking about? Is that what you guys are talking about? The New England Synth Fest?
No, it's the EMOM, isn't it? No, Electronic EMOM. Open Mic Nights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we probably should mention that New England Synth Fest thing.
New England is America, isn't it?
It's Boston. Oh, of course. Sorry, completely.
And what they call it? Oh, come on! That one that begins with a C that no one can pronounce. Rhode Island, Delaware, all those places. And come on, Andy, you're in America. What's the state that begins with a C? Connecticut. That's it. Thank you. That's the one. All those up there.
Yeah.
It's just ignoring me. The stupid Brit doesn't know where these places are.
Speaking of
just in the word
speaking
England.
of someone who knows where New England is better than me, Andy, thanks mate for sharing all the stuff on the show. I completely had a brain fart then.
Wish I had more to share, but again, I was distracted a bunch, so
Yeah.
that's all I could record during the whole show. So.
Nah, be distracted, mate. I would be there and lapping it all up just like you did. So, no, you're more than welcome. Ian, massively thanks a lot for coming on the show. More than welcome to join us anytime again.
Thanks. I'd love to come.
You've got a free pass.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. I'm going to, this evening, I'm actually going to go and spend an hour in a Cold War bunker watching something called Worldly Noise and Electronic Atmospheres.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Which is apparently York. I mean, I found this place a few years ago, but York's got a Cold War bunker which was decommissioned in the 1990s, and you can just go and visit this place, and it's an amazing, small place. But they occasionally have electronic concerts on there, and I just stumbled across the fact that tonight that they've got I can't remember the name of the band actually they've got on, but they've got this concert for an hour, and I just thought, what a great thing to do. So that's my Saturday night sorted.
Yeah.
And yes, I know I'd love to come on anytime, really.
You're more than welcome to. Awesome.
Thank you.
We actually have some bunkers here by the Golden Gate Bridge. They used some of the scenes in the Terminator Genesis movie were shot there.
Oh, yes. I know the ones you're talking about. Okay, cool.
Where the gun turrets used to be up on the hills there. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
It's near your part of the hood. Big thank you to the chatties as well. So thanks for those guys for being part of the show. I just said thanks everyone in there. Same time, same channel next week, 1 o'clock UK time for the early show, 2 o'clock for the main show. We will have a Name That Synth next week because I've just been told it's ready to go for next week. Other than that, big thanks for everyone to be part of the show, and we'll say goodbye. Toodaloo. Toodaloo.
Bye, everybody. Bye, chatty. Cheers. Bye.
Just say toodaloo.
Bye.